Australia's longest-serving Indigenous prisoner is set to be released into the community 18 years after he was first eligible for parole. Derek Bromley has spent 40 years in prison for a murder he says he didn't commit. Last year, the High Court dismissed Mr Bromley's final bid to have his murder conviction overturned. Based on evidence, the sole witness was experiencing acute symptoms of a mental health disorder. Legal experts say there may be other paths to clear his name.
To have all of those years with all of that grief.
For 2 decades, this daily phone call has been Derek Bromley's link to the outside world.
You know, I've only been on the scene for about 20 years. You've been holding the justice light for 40 years.
The Narungga Nurrungeri man has spent just 47 days of his adult life out of jail. He's been fighting for his freedom since 1984, when he was convicted of the murder of Stephen DeCosa, whose body was found in Adelaide's River Torrens. Last month, his 5th application for parole was granted.
I'm starting to permit that sense of relief, and we're starting our conversations are more positive in terms of, well, we can actually make this plan or that plan.
Bromley's co-accused was paroled 20 years ago after expressing remorse. Bromley has been eligible for parole since 2006, telling SBS, "We considered he needed resocialization, otherwise you set people up to fail. You can't just open the door and let people out when they've been locked up for 30 years or thereabouts." Yet Bromley has been fighting fires in the community for 10 years and is now a paid employee of the state, working alongside emergency services and law enforcement at major bushfires, floods and rescue operations.
He has a really deep sense of community service and protecting the community.
In 2018, telling Channel 7,
"You get to feel like a normal member of society and nobody out there sees you as a prisoner."
The High Court dismissed Bromley's application to appeal last year, but 2 of the 5 judges found there was a significant possibility that an innocent person had been convicted.
Here we have 2 judges of the High Court of Australia, the equivalent to a Supreme Court in the other countries, who said positively that he has been wrongly convicted. That's an enormous breakthrough.
Law professor Bob Moles believes the verdict could be overturned based on what he says was problematic evidence by then state pathologist Colin Manock, who certified Stephen DeCosa's cause of death.
Because Dr Manock was known to not be properly qualified to do the job, and because there had been a number of serious adverse findings against him by the High Court itself, by some other courts and the coroner, those matters should have been disclosed to the High Court as part of those proceedings, and it wasn't.
For now, supporters are waiting to find out if the Parole Board will allow Bromley to return home or spend the first year of his parole living at the Adelaide Pre-Release Centre. Peter Doherty, SBS World News.